My name is Jake Reynolds. I'm with Allison Transmission. I am a program manager in our digital connected services team. And this is just one of those passion projects that I've been working on with Amy over at NTEA. So, Amy, if you want to introduce yourself, go for it.
Sure. Hi, everybody. Glad you can be here. And I'll be available later or at any point between now and even at the show if anybody has any questions. I am in content development at NTEA. So part of what I do is work with some of the speakers that we have for part of the educational components. And we also create some content that we give to our members. We have staff engineers, data specialists who write articles and that sort of thing. And then we share it out with our NTEA members. So we're happy to have students be able to join us at the show. This is kind of turning into quite a neat experience, I hope.
So, well, this is our pilot test, so we appreciate everyone running along as guinea pigs with us on this. So we'll go ahead and dive right into some content here. So we are obviously talking about the Work Truck Week show coming up in a few weeks. So we'll try and give you a high-level overview of what exactly the commercial trucking industry is, and then Amy will help us talk through what's going on at the show, what to expect, and how to navigate it. And then we have a guest presenter with us, Brian Otto, who is part of the Allison OEM accounts team, and I'll let Brian introduce himself. So sorry, Brian, you're not on yet. So we'll start with the first slide. I kind of gave away there early on, but everybody's probably seen these before in passing, driving down the road. These are work trucks, pretty straightforward. They're vehicles designed to do a job, and that's what we help with at Allison Transmission, and that's what NTEA hosts. So for a little bit of a plug for the company. I'll go ahead and see if this video will play here, and it does not look like it will. Oh, there we go.
Here it
Okay,
goes.
sweet. We'll play this video real quick. You should be able to hear sound. Hopefully it comes through okay. And this will give a good kind of snapshot of what work trucks are, and then it's just obviously got a little bit of an Allison focus to it. So let this thing get going.
Commitment. It doesn't happen overnight. For Allison Transmission, our commitment to innovation has played out for more than 100 years. It's this innovative spirit that continues to drive us and you into the future. It's evidenced in the 1,100 plus patents for state-of-the-art, performance-driven products and features. For applications ranging from emergency response to transit, defense, and more. We'll never stop working to meet the needs of a changing industry. Customers can rely on us to support global sustainability goals and the transition to zero emissions with durable, reliable, and efficient electric propulsion solutions. Today, the power of Allison is visible worldwide. With dedicated employees, cutting-edge facilities, and advanced products and technologies engineered to improve fleet productivity and sustainability. Our passion for advancements in quality, durability, reliability, and sustainability is unmatched, and no one is more committed to our customers' success than our 1,400 plus authorized dealers and distributors around the globe. We're continually adding forward-thinking industry assets to support the next generation of propulsion solutions, like the Vehicle Electrification and Environmental Test Center, featuring repeatable, reliable, seasonally independent, and sustainable vehicle testing in one singular location, and our new Innovation Center, which will help bring new technology and products, including our EV solutions, to market faster and more efficiently. Allison is leading the industry to build a cleaner and more sustainable future so that our customers are more prepared than ever for tomorrow. Together, we'll improve the way the world works.
a little selfishly, I really like that video just because it gives a very quick overview of everything that is work truck. There's a lot of applications, a lot of different vehicles that Allison is a part of. And it's not just us, though. It's everyone else across the commercial trucking industry. Those trucks don't just roll off the lot that way or off the assembly line that way. There's a lot of work that goes into them.
My name is Brian Otto. I'm an OEM account director for Allison. I have responsibility for PACCAR, which is Kenworth and Peterbilt trucks. So I'm sure as you've been driving on the highways, you've seen plenty of Kenworth and Peterbilt trucks. They're one of the top commercial truck manufacturers in the U.S., and they have a global footprint, including Brazil, Mexico, Europe, and Australia. So, my role is really to support PACCAR and making sure that they get the best product and the right fit and application to build the trucks that they need. So my role is pretty diverse. So I work across sales, marketing, engineering support with PACCAR, but also internally, I work with our marketing team, our manufacturing team, our sales operations team. So, what's unique about my role is it's very, very unique. And so when I think about PACCAR and what they produce, and is definitely on the commercial side, on the work truck side. So as we think about a commercial truck, that's going to be just about anything that you can think of is going to touch a truck. I challenge my sons to look around a room, or when we're out out taking a drive. If you look at something, more than likely a truck has either hauled it, has created it, or was instrumental in making it happen. And that's from hanging a road sign to building a road to hauling the food that comes into your grocery stores. So with PACCAR specifically, they do line haul, which is going to be your trucks that are the trailers that are going and carrying the goods and services from Amazon or from a warehouse into a grocery store. So as we look at this screen here, there's all different types of applications. So line haul is going to be in that Class 8 truck. It's typically a sleeper. And then you're going to get into different trucks like a cement mixer, fire truck. And that Class 8 is based off of the weight. And then as you go down to Class 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1, those are all the different types of vehicle classes. So when we talk about commercial trucks, typically we're going to be in that Class 5. As you can see, a bucket truck, which will be a utility truck. PACCAR builds plenty of those. You got a city delivery, so that can be a small box truck that's running goods and services. And then as you get up into the higher weight ranges, that could be a city bus up into a cement mixer. And then we even have heavy haul applications where they're hauling a piece of equipment that could be up to 200,000 pounds. So very diverse group of trucks. So as I kind of think about a career and what interests me and why I do the things I do, when Jake asked me to do this, I thought about kind of, why do I do the things I do? And I think it boils down to 5 things: the impact of the commercial trucking world, the innovation and the challenges that the industry faces, the career that is very impactful and dynamic, and then our global reach and diverse workforce. And then lastly, we'll talk about this, is just pride in manufacturing and Indiana jobs. Allison is based in Indiana. So it's that pride of, hey, we're contributing to the economy. But, I think the impact of the commercial trucking is really, again, everything is touched by a truck. There's not much that is not done by a work truck. So everything that there's there. So there's lots of opportunities in this field. The job creation on work trucks and the trucking industry is continuing, and there's strong job support, and it's going to continue to grow even as we get into EV and other industries. We're always going to need transportation and trucks to get work done. The other thing that's fun is just the innovation and the industry challenges that we're coming up against. So you have EV that's coming online, and those changes, regulations are driving changes within the trucks. And then also just autonomous and the connected truck pieces. So as technology grows, so does the technology within the trucks. And it's fascinating to be a part of that. It's always a challenge to try to understand that and how our products and the industry is going to change and how do we adapt to that. As far as my career, and the commercial truck is so dynamic. There is, as you look at that, those classes of trucks, all of those trucks have unique capabilities and unique problems that need to be solved. And at the end of the day, these are tools, right? These are tools to get a job done. So making sure that tool is working as needed. And if you think about the tool of a city transport or a school bus, that tool is very important. It needs to work right and to protect the kids that are driving or in that vehicle. So it's just very dynamic. Every day seems to be different. And then also I walk away very impactful when you figure out a solution or there's a new offering, or most importantly, when you have the end use customer that says, hey, thank you for this truck. It is it's changed my life. I have a story where there was an operator who had hurt his leg on his left leg, so he couldn't drive a manual truck, and he was a truck driver his whole life. So career ending potentially. He was able to get an Allison transmission, which doesn't have a clutch, and it's like your car, it's a fully automatic. And he was thanking me for a product that was able to continue his career and made his life a lot easier. He wished he had gone to a fully automatic transmission a lot longer ago. So having those conversations with people that were making their life better, making it safer, it's very impactful. You walk away going, I'm proud to be in this industry. The other thing too is that global reach. So this industry is global. So Allison Transmission, we manufacture in Indianapolis, but we also have headquarters in manufacturing in India, in Hungary. We have offices in Mexico and Brazil. So we're a global footprint. Being able to talk to a diverse group when we bring in folks, the diversity that is coming in, the ideas that are sharing, it's amazing. I wouldn't get that opportunity in lots of other industries, but this industry affords that opportunity for myself. And I think the last piece is just that pride in manufacturing. It's here in Indiana. We're manufacturing a product that is going out and supporting U.S. jobs. It's supporting our industry. It's helping support the growth, the road building, the infrastructure that is needed to be built out in the future. And being a part of that, it's pretty amazing. When we have factory tours, we bring in customers and other folks to come into our factory and look at our manufacturing. It's you're filled with a sense of pride of what we're creating and what we're doing. So, I think as you think about the work truck and the commercial truck industry, it's fascinating. It needs all levels of support, and from engineering to marketing to sales to purchasing, there's just a lot of opportunity within our industry.
Can you see the question, Brian, about what class is an ambulance?
Oh yeah. So an ambulance, you're probably going to be on the smaller side because there's not a lot of weight bearing. So I'm going to say that could be either like a class 3 or class 4, but you also, maybe a large hospital van could be into a class 5, but ambulance will probably be in that class 3 or 4. A little bit heavy. They got a heavy box. They're carrying a lot of equipment around, but they also have to be maneuverable and smaller.
Yeah, I just want to add real quickly. I had the opportunity to visit an ambulance manufacturer in Florida, and I was amazed. I still at some point had this idea that they just drove them off, right? And they were just pressed and then they went out the door, and pressed and they went out the door. But we walked around, they were installing the fabric on the seats. They were building literally each shelving unit that was going to go in on the sides and the back. You see an ambulance and there's a lot of little drawers. All of that stuff is custom, and they can do it by the customer. How you want that to look. Do you want 2 doors that open this way? Do you want a door that opens this way? And then even down to the outside decals. If you start to look around at ambulances, that's a choice that maybe the municipality or the hospital, the company that owns it, they can make those choices on what kind of lettering to have, even some of the lighting options. There are some regulations and standards that have to be met, but some of that lighting is something that they can add on over and above. So that really seeing those, each one just moving down the line, sort of very slowly. It was so eye opening for me that really introduced me to manufacturing in this industry. I think more than anything I'd seen.
Yeah, Amy, that's a good point. That's a good question. So maybe that's a distinction we should talk about. I think so. Allison, we make a component, right? We're making a transmission that then needs to be mated to an engine. And then from there, you got drive lines. So you have a bunch of different components that go into it. So when we provide a transmission to PACCAR, let's say Kenworth, they are building a chassis. We call it a chassis. So that chassis is going to be the cab. It's going to be the major components that drive off. They aren't the ones that are putting the body on. So then you have a whole nother industry called bodybuilders that then take that chassis from a PACCAR or a Kenworth, a Peterbilt or a Mack or a Freightliner, so many commercial trucks, OEMs. And then these bodybuilders will take this chassis and then they will custom fit that body to make sure it needs. So you have bodybuilders that specialize in dump trucks. So those dump truck bodies are getting that chassis and then they're customizing that dump truck to be for that need for that customer. And it can be very regional too. So I'm in Washington State right now. They have different weight laws. They have different regulations out here for the chassis and what they can do. So the bodybuilder that's out here have to be specialized in making sure that their body fits the needs of the region. Now in Indiana, it's a little bit different. They're going to have different bodies sometimes for dumps. The other thing is like a fire truck, that again, that's a chassis and they're very customized and making sure municipalities are getting what they need. And it can even cement mixers as well. You'll see different cement mixers. You'll see what we call a rear discharge mixer, which will be the concrete's pouring out of the back, or you'll see a front discharge mixer where the concrete's pouring out of the front. And then even expanding off of that is they have bodybuilders that are pumpers, right? So the chassis is getting there. Now they're putting a pump body on there. And then it has to get to the end user. So there's a lot of value created on every step of the process within our industry. And ultimately getting a truck that is a functional tool that goes out and works, does the job efficiently, effectively, safely. Safety is a huge piece of our industry, making sure that these operators are going home safely to their families. And so, yeah, it's a fascinating industry. So as you think about like, where do I want to begin my career? This is a great opportunity to go, where is the commercial trucking industry and how many, where do I want to fit in in that piece? Engineers, again, are needed to make sure that these new EV and then also hybrid and hydrogen, how are we going to fit all these into and make a truck that is a work truck?
So I did skip over a couple of slides, and Brian mentioned a little bit about the different components that go into making a work truck. And what the picture I've got pulled up right now, in our main office in Speedway, we actually have an area called the Hall of Transmissions. And we have these examples, and they are highly polished, fully assembled products that we put on display stands just to give a sense of what the transmissions are and how big they are. And these pictures really don't do it justice, because in the top left, that's the smallest transmission we make. It's our 1000 series product. And there's a version of it that actually, if you ever see a GM truck that's got the Allison Swirl logo on it, it's a variant of that transmission, and it's about that size. But then the transmission immediately below it goes in the A1 Abrams battle tank. And that transmission is about the size of the engine block of a small car. So if you drive a sedan, the engine that's sitting in front of you is about how big that transmission is. So there's a lot of variability And kind of like the video we played at the beginning showed, Allison's been in business for over 100 years, and we're just a component supplier. Now, we're very high on the list as far as quality and what our customers demand and durability, but that's just how big the industry is. This is all we make. This product doesn't do anybody any good without the rest of the vehicle to drive it and to push it. So it it really is really kind of crazy and exciting at the same time how varied all of this is. With that, we'll transition from what we've been doing, talking about the industry, into focusing a little bit more on the Work Truck Week show. So with that, Amy, I will turn it over to you.
All right, let me see where we are here. So it should be popping in just some career titles here. Like many industries, this isn't necessarily specific. You've got your supply chain on there, but it's not just, sometimes for a while, I always thought about people in the trades working in our industry, because some of our members are from literally the upfitters who are bolting on the parts. But of course, all the companies that produce those and that ship those have all of these kinds of people as well. They have accountants, they have marketing people, they have advertising people. So there's so many different career choices that you could explore in this industry and across many different companies, large and small. I would say there's giant companies in the industry, and then there's smaller companies, and of course, medium-sized companies as well. So the next thing we did is we have a group of what we call early careerists at NTEA, and they're a group of people who generally have less than 10 years of experience in the industry, and we call that group Generation Next. And when I learned that we were going to be presenting and talking with college students, I immediately thought of this group. So we went out and did some interviews with them, and they told their story, and they were all incredibly interesting how they got to where they are in the industry. So if we can play a couple of these, we might as well just jump in. They're pretty short. We pared down what they had said. But so these are people that work at our member companies and took some time to tell us a little bit about how they got to where they are today.
I like sales because I'm a natural problem solver. I really like digging into problems and pain points and helping, customers develop a solution. I've always had a real passion for understanding how products work and how they can make a real difference in people's lives. I think the combination of engineering and marketing and sales has always been intriguing for me, because it allows me not only to understand like the technical side of things, but also how to communicate and sell those products and solutions effectively to customers.
I had actually no idea what Tommygate was when I applied for the job. The job description sounded like a lot of what I wanted to do. And when I came in here, not only were the CEO and director of sales were in my interview, I really appreciated them, but everything that they were telling me about the industry and the company is what I really wanted, was most interested in pursuing. And when I started working here and they offered me the position, I actually had no idea how much I would enjoy manufacturing and truck equipment. Our industry is problem solvers. We figure everything out, very logical people, and just something where there's an issue in front of them and they always solve it. And that's something that brings me a lot of joy, is having progress every day and kind of just putting one step in front of the other and just moving the ball down the field. And that pretty much sums up this industry as a whole. And what I really love about it is just how everyone kind of rallies around you and just really helps you out. Everyone has a teaching spirit. There are a lot of amazing mentors in this industry that I've had the benefit of using and helping me along to kind of try to navigate and figure things out. So far I'm having a great time and I really love it. And I actually do not see myself going anywhere else. I really love this industry.
Seeing my dad back in the day being a sales rep, that's kind of something that I always wanted to do. So in 2019, I had the opportunity to apply and interview for a sales role with Muncie Power Products. I was fortunate enough to gain that opportunity, and I was a field sales manager for the Atlantic territory. Had 4 states that I covered, meeting customers, seeing what they built, for me, this was just a huge eye opener from being in our warehouse for 12 years. All I saw was kind of some customers coming in, me putting together PTOs, pumps, valves, things like that, shipping product out. That's all I saw in the work truck industry. So in 2019, that's when the world really opened for the work truck industry for me.
I will say it is always interesting to me on how people come to the work truck industry. It is I think a very family type of community. It's small, it's kind of a niche. You don't really think about it. And then as soon as you're involved with it, you see it everywhere. So you start driving down the roads and you see different mud flaps and you see different vehicles. And it's always intriguing just about how they got built and where they got built, how they're used. So that's kind of what kept me in the industry, is it's constantly evolving. I've seen some really just fascinating projects come through over my time with Holman. With the EV stuff coming through now, it's definitely changing the dynamics of the industry. So you don't get bored. It's never just the same every single day. There's always different challenges that are coming up. And that's my story in a nutshell.
One of the biggest things and best things that I ever did was say yes to the opportunities that were presented to me. There was a lot of times where I was uncertain about, what the future could hold. Was this the right decision for me, or eventually, down the road for me and my family. But really, I do not regret a single one of those decisions. Every one of the opportunities that presented themselves to me, that I took advantage of, helped me in one way or another, whether it was directly or indirectly, learn more about the industry, learn more about business, learn more about myself, and what I really ultimately wanted to do. This led me to get into the management side of the business. So not in engineering like I thought that I wanted, but getting into management and leading people. And that's something that's been very rewarding for me.
All right. Thanks so much for showing those. I hope everybody, or, those that are on the call, got something out of that. I had a really nice time creating those and pulling those people together. Essentially, we've opened up the show to college students this year, and this was pretty much Jake's idea, and he came to us, and so we have free passes, and hopefully you've gotten some information about that. And this is for Thursday, March 6th, and the exhibit hall is open from 9:30 to 5, and you're welcome to come anytime. It's there's about more than 500 exhibitors there. So some of the exhibitors are small with a small, even a tabletop display, just to go right down to the very smallest, to the largest, where there'll be, a giant Mack truck with a dump body on the back on display. And the other company that comes to mind is Alltech with, the aerial devices that go up. So it's quite impressive. Could be overwhelming, but there's a lot to see and a lot to do. And I've been in the show before it opens, and they are detailing these vehicles like they would for an auto show. It's sort of like the best of the best auto show, except it's these work truck vehicles. So, and I don't think you'll see the same thing twice. It's so varied. There are companies holding press conferences. So if they have a new vehicle, a new part, a new piece of equipment, they've sent out information, and the press will be there in their booth ready to, take the notes and get the first look at their new releases on products. So that's a big part of the show too. So I hope you all can come and, get something out of it. I think there's going to be some opportunities to sort of tour. There's NTEA has a big booth that could always be a resource. You can always stop and ask us. In our booth at various times are our engineers. They're there to answer questions. There are people who study work truck data. So we have our data analysts who will be in the booth. We also have our marketing people. I'll be in the booth some of the time. So that would be a place that you could always stop to get more information about, what's happening at the show once you get there. So we're also going to share this slide deck later, so you'll have an opportunity to go through it and rewatch those videos if you want to. And you can always watch this video to give you that overview of what the work truck show is about. And then So you have a code. I think all the students were given a code to put in to get your complimentary pass. And once you go to register, and it's at worktruckweek.com, you can, there's a different, it's pretty easy to navigate. You're going to hit the register button. You can use your email, you can use your university as your company, and then put that address in. You'll add your own email, and then you'll receive a confirmation, a registration confirmation. And if you go to the next slide, I can show, talk a little bit about, there's an app, which I have been learning more and more about the app since I knew I was going to talk about it. I wanted to use it myself. It's pretty amazing. I'm actually quite impressed with our people that work on the app. So it's in, for Apple or Android use. You get the app, and then you can create what's referred to as a planner. And in that planner, you will be able to check off the companies that you want to visit. Maybe you look at the exhibitor list and a few ring a bell. Maybe you could search by location, find out a couple that are in Indiana. Or if you're looking in a different part of the country, you can look for exhibitors that might be from Texas, that sort of thing. And then you can take photos, you can take notes, you can keep them, and they'll be stored right with that company that you put into your planner. So if you put Allison Transmission into your planner, you can go there, do your research, take your notes, even connect with some of the people that are in the booth from Allison through that app. So I really recommend you get the app, and then you can check things off. If you put 10 companies in there, you just check them off as you go as visited, and then you'll have a way to go back and kind of reflect on the entire visit and maybe do some outreach through LinkedIn. I think that's important. I know that students are just more and more starting a LinkedIn account even in high school. So hopefully everybody's got their eye on that. And then you can also locate it's a map. You can put in a booth number and it'll show you where you are on the show floor, and it will help you get there. But there's always a lot of people you can ask those kinds of questions to. So I would say if you're going to do one thing before you go to the show, it would be to get that app downloaded. When you register, you'll have a registration number that will come in that confirmation email. You'll need that to set up the planner. So that feels a little cumbersome, but it's very simple, but you'll need that number. So you'll need the email that you use to register, and you'll need that confirmation from your registration. And then you'll be into the planner, and I think you'll find it pretty helpful. So I'm quite happy about that. And then the next slide. So we talked about, we have this other tool that was, again, a new project for me that I really got excited about when I knew that I had such a perfect audience for it, and that would be students. It's a guide to the work truck industry. And if you can click on it, can you get through to it there on that access the guide to the industry? If that works. So this is a tool that you can look at. It will give you a little more the overview of the industry. You can do this on your phone. You can do it from your computer. It's really mobile friendly as well. And then in here, if you go to the voices in the industry, you'll see there are expanded videos, and this is where Jake makes his debut. He talks about the industry. He did two great things when I spoke with him. He talked about the industry as a whole, and then he talked about himself. So we used him. We used both clips of those. So you'll find out more about Jake here. So these are like the full length videos. We listen to maybe 2 minutes or so for each. These run anywhere from, say, 10 minutes to 20 minutes on the individuals going a little bit deeper into how they arrived where they did in the industry. So I just found them so interesting, and I hope that other people, and that they're very relatable to new people coming out of college, or people considering you're getting some face-to-face. And many of these people, maybe all of them, will be at the show. So you could even take down their names here and try to make a point of visiting their booths and see if they're there. And that would be another just great way to connect. I think it's a lot about connection. So I highly encourage that. And then if you go down to almost the bottom, there's a Work Truck Week activity. And it's sort of a little lesson that we put together about how you could research the event, what you can do, what kind of follow-up you can do. Just really trying to give you the tools so that you can get the most out of the visit. And I don't think you'll be disappointed. And with any luck, you'll want to come back again another year, or perhaps you'll even be at the show as part of an exhibiting company, or, you know, they're doing some research for your own real world job when you get it. So I guess I just want to welcome everybody to this, you know, huge and fascinating and in such a diverse environment. And I think it was so beautiful when Jake brought it up, because we're right there. All of this stuff, all of the resources, all the samples, all the people, all the types of jobs are right there. And we're just so thankful that we can, you know, allow everybody to use it, and I think get something out of it for sure.
We're very happy to be here at the Work Truck Show in Indianapolis. It's always a fabulous show. The energy is insane. It's so good to have all the people, the outfitters, the fleets, the OEMs. There's just so much going on.
This session specifically was for forecasting and market outlooks. So understanding where we are in the industry right now, where we will be in 1 year, 2 year, 10 years, 20 years, to understand kind of what business decisions we're making so that we can respond to what the market looks like.
Being able to communicate with our customers one-on-one in this really phenomenal environment is just, bar none, the most important element of our business. We are a member of NTEA, and the opportunities that it's provided our team members are amazing.
When I come to NTEA, I have the ability to see all the solutions that are out there: software, telematics, charging, upfits, everything that's going to help drive my business forward, keep my vehicles on the road, and make me more money.
I think that there's so much opportunity here, right? There's no reason to be nervous. There's not a lot of formality. I mean, they do a great job having access through the app and just different things, but there's so much opportunity. You can't pass it up.
This is the pinnacle event for the work truck environment. With the customer base that's here, right, this is the perfect opportunity for us to share and showcase everything that we have to offer for the commercial customer.
The reason I needed to be here is just to see what's going on right now when it comes to transportation. Everything is booming. A lot of electric vehicles are coming out. So I just wanted to see where everything was so I could bring that back to my company to help them expand everything that they're doing also.
I've been coming to the Work Truck Show for the last 3 years, and it's really eye-opener for me because a lot of applications have been transitioned from ICE to hybrid and full electric. So it's really great to see all the new technologies coming up.
This is one of the first events of the year. We get to see what people are releasing and just discuss what we're also putting out as a company.
I think it'd be beneficial if you're thinking about entering or supplying this market, just to come here and understand who the players are, gain the contacts, and then also the context of what it is that you'll be doing and who you would be talking to, and understand the product better before you try to get into the market.
One of the things I love about coming here is that, A, you get to see all the people that you know, meet all the new people in the industry, but really see what is new in the industry. It's hard to know just by a website or an ad or somebody telling you about a product, but actually seeing it hands-on is so beneficial to understanding what the new trends are in our industry.
Work Truck Week is for sure our biggest show of the year. We have been here for many years, and this is actually the second year in a row that we've been exhibiting as the full Shift group. So all of our brands together, which is just really special for us because it highlights how all of our brands work together cross-collaboratively to deliver amazing solutions for our customers.
I'm excited to be at Work Truck Week because there's so much access to vendors, and we can see really what's new in the market and what's coming up.
Today we brought in a group of customers from all different types of verticals and horizontals. So all the way from micro fleet up to very large fleet, you know, post 10,000 units. I think one of the greatest things about being at NTEA is it allows us to have some of our existing customers who are starting or already further along in their journey to meet other customers who maybe are just starting along their journey.
This is my first time here at Work Truck Week. I think that sharing that with other people and explaining to them why it would work for them. The one thing that I would say is don't come alone. Come with a partner or hook up with one of the many sponsors or a lot of the people with NTEA.
We have some customers here, and we're looking at additional customers, but also products that fit into our customer applications, new ideas for wiring, different setups, hookups, those type of things. Really understanding where the market's going that we're serving.
Everyone's here. There's always something new. People put a lot of effort into the show because it's the biggest show of the industry. It's kind of a non-miss.
This event helps bring that entire crew together, right, to facilitate those relationships and to build this business.
A couple of comments on some show etiquette and what to expect. So in the video that we just showed, the show really is big. It takes up the entire convention center downtown and then some. So it's if you're familiar with downtown Indianapolis, it's really close to Lucas Oil Stadium, just a little north of that, and southwest of downtown. If you're real good with directions there, but it's huge. Like it is very overwhelming when you first step in that show and you've never been there before. It's kind of like taking a sip out of a fire hydrant. So in the video they mentioned come with a friend. I definitely recommend that. Try and come in groups of at least two, because it helps kind of keep you grounded because you do get lost in everything very quickly. Allison's got a booth, NTEA's got a booth. You're more than welcome to come and talk to us, and we'll actually have some volunteers that will be at the NTEA booth through the show. We're still working on getting a head count. We're trying to get about 10 or so people, but I'll be around all or most of the day, depending on our volunteers. And we're available to help answer questions, talk about the show as best we can. I know NTEA has a very large staff that will be happy to help as well. But we can give some Allison perspective on what a day in the life is like, what our career journeys have been. And then if you see something that you're like, man, I'd really like to know more about that, but you just weren't comfortable talking to the booth exhibitor, you're welcome to come ask us. We'll do our best to answer it, or we may help make an introduction in some cases. It just depends on what we feel or what our staff is comfortable with. And then same on the NTEA side. So show etiquette wise, we would definitely encourage business casual. You'll see a wide range of folks there because that's the work truck industry. Comfortable shoes, definitely you'll be on your feet the entire time you're there. There's not a lot of opportunities to sit down, but you're welcome to touch and feel and look and experience the industry. Most of the vehicles you can climb up in, don't do it without asking, at least talk to someone in the booth. But I mean, they're work trucks. If you can break it, then we probably did something wrong in the design of the product. And then briefly in the video, it also showed some shots outside for anybody who is old enough. There is a ride and drive. Amy, do you know if there's an age restriction on that by any chance?
I think if 21 and over for sure. I can't say for positive it goes 18 and up, but 21 and up should be fine.
And I think they ask you that at check-in, so you're not going to stand in line for 20 minutes and waste your time. There's a check-in in advance of where the ride and drive is at. It's actually, I think, really close to the NTEA booth, and there's some NTEA folks that'll be there to help with check-in and answer questions as well.
Yeah, I think there's a waiver involved. And some of the time it's riding with someone from that company, and some of the time it's driving and the company representative would be riding with you. And there's a set circuit right outside the convention center that goes around for a short drive.
Yeah. And I've done the ride and drive a couple of times. It is a lot of fun. There are some trucks you have to have a CDL for. So if you have one, cool. You'd be able to drive most of the trucks and you'd probably feel right at home. But I don't have one, so there are a few, like Amy said, where you can ride in the vehicle, but you can't drive it without that added license. But some of the others you can drive, and you drive them about a few blocks around Indianapolis, which is a little scary when you're not used to being in a vehicle that big. And then as far as what to expect, I know there was one company that was interested in some recruiting activities. But for the most part, what we've recommended is come with maybe your LinkedIn QR code. I would recommend having that saved to your phone already, or if you have some business cards, that would be a good example as well. But really, the purpose of this is we're encouraging everyone to come, experience the industry, get a sense for what it's like, and just strike up conversations and see where they take you. But I wouldn't recommend walking up and handing out a resume. That's not the primary focus of the show. So I would encourage you to stay away from that. Now, if they ask, that's a different story, but that's generally a good rule of thumb. And then I would also recommend a small backpack if you've got it, and a bottle of water at least. Again, you're walking around a lot, and there are drinking fountains, but those are kind of some good things to keep up with. So, any closing words before we sign off, though?
I don't think so. I just every time we talk about this, Jake, or work on it together, and it's so exciting. It's really gratifying. So I hope that a lot of students end up taking advantage of it, and could be the beginning of something wonderful.
Right. Well, thank you everyone for your time today, and we'll definitely be in touch. Feel free to reach out to Amy or myself, and we look forward to seeing you at the show.